What is up, folks? Jorge Anito here. Thanks for stopping by, and welcome back. So today we're going to take a look at 5 items of interest. 5 items involving sleight of hand with cards. Obviously, that's what we do here. But you know, they range from convincers, subtleties, moves, sleights, what Dan and Dave refer to in the Trilogy on their Everything Else DVD as random cool. Things that in and of themselves probably don't merit entire videos dedicated to just them, but you know, 5 of them in a compilation video, I think it'll work well. Leave a like and a comment letting me know if this is something that we should continue. Have tons of stuff like this. So yeah, just tips, tricks, subtleties, convincers, moves, sleights, just, you know, anything involving sleight of hand. But, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into 5 random cool things involving sleight of hand with cards. Oddly worded, poorly said. The first item of interest is a tip concerning your Mexican turnover. I'm guessing that most people know how to do this, but I learned this from Armando Lucero in his paper cut series, something he almost mentioned in passing, and that's this. So just real quick, most know what the Mexican turnover is, so we won't go over the mechanics of that. And there are a couple ways to do this. You could do this flipping action, right, where you flip the card and come away with it, obviously doing the switch. Or you can do the flip and kind of go this way with the card. So, right, there's that, and there's that. So the tip that he offers is simply this. Most people will start from this position. This is the starting point for the Mexican turnover, and then they proceed to go right into it. You know, however they do it. The tip is this, is to make this over here your starting point. So instead of starting here and going right into it, start over here and then go into it. And the reason for this is because this gives one extra movement for the spectator's eyes to follow. You know, obviously they're looking right at you, and it's hard to get away with the Mexican turnover unless you're really, really good at it. And so starting over here as opposed to here just gives you an extra movement for their eyes to track. The second random cool thing is a Stuart Gordon placement by a guy named Stephen Hobbs, and it looks like that. Pretty simple, right? When most people do the Stuart Gordon, they pick it up, you know, obviously they have a break. They pick it up with the ring and the thumb. They have these 2 fingers laying on the back, right, and they kind of roll it down like this. I really don't do it that way, just to be honest. I always pick it up like this with the middle finger with just the index on top, and then I go into it. My hands are really wet. Any other day, my hands would be super dry. But the thing that Stephen Hobbs is offering is this 180-degree rotation, right? And it's pretty easy to do, regardless of whatever way you do the Stuart Gordon. Let's just do it the way that most people do. So it's very simply, you're taking your index finger and kind of coming up. As you've turned the card over, you're taking your index, moving it up here, and you're just simply rotating the card 180 degrees. Like that. And obviously, if I'm slowing it down, it's flashing a little bit, but I think you see, I think you'll see the value in that. And it's just a way to manipulate a double. It's just adding an extra rotation into this double lift to basically convince the spectator that it's just a single card. The third random cool thing is something that looks like this. Pretty simple. It's a way to maintain a jogged card for whatever reason. Maybe you want to do a side still, maybe you want to readjust for something. it's just a way of controlling a selection. This is an all-around square-up action. I learned this from Doc Doherty. He uses it for something very specific, but it's has quite a bit of utility here, so I thought about going ahead and sharing it with you guys, just maintaining the jog as a form of control. So you're placing the card in, you're using your thumb and pinky to drag this card down like this. Then you're going to, at this point, do the all-around square-up motion, and you're just bringing the cards up as your thumb kicks and rolls this card around. So you're in this position. Now you're going to twist it back upwards, but this thumb is going to roll the card around the rest of the way. So you're almost in a similar position where you first started. It's a little different, right? And at this point, you can obviously regrip for a palm or whatever control, whatever it is you're trying to do. And again, this is just a way of maneuvering a jogged card around in a seemingly impossible way, at least to the spectator's point of view, right? This is exposed view. Just a cool way to maneuver a jogged card, to be quite honest. And it's really fun. It's just fun to sit around and do this, right? This card just kind of rotates and revolves around the deck in a concealed way. It's kind of cool. So, yeah, give it a try. The fourth random cool thing is another convincer, I guess you'd call it. Another way of maintaining a jog. And that is in a diagonal ribbon spread. Maybe you'll remember in a previous video, we looked at this from Ernest Eric. Well, actually, he credits Hugh Garden Bro, but he does it, like this. He'll go into it. But I find that doing it like this can be difficult because you can lose the jog. However, if you do it in a diagonal ribbon spread, you're having the card just side jog like that, and you just come down just like so. You could still hide that card. Well, obviously, let me do this just a little bit better here. I'm trying to look at the camera, and you get a really cool spread. You gather the cards up, and it's just a perfect, you collect the cards back, and that card is maintained. This is really simple. It's not hard at all to do. The thing is just finding that sweet spot. So for me, when I drag that card down, I just kind of use my middle finger to kick this card down. It's rotating around my thumb down here. I just kick it out, or just kick it down ever so slightly. The reason for that is because if I didn't do that and I go right into the spread, you will see that corner peeking through. So you just put the card in like so. You're pushing it down, bringing it down, using your middle finger to rotate it ever so slightly. And I'm almost, to do the diagonal ribbon spread, I'm almost just really using the index and the middle finger placed on either side of this non-pip corner, and I'm just dragging downward. Now, obviously, my hand is here to conceal the action. All the other fingers are to stabilize the deck, and I'm just dragging the cards down like so, right? Now, to collect these cards back up, I'm using my pinky and thumb, and the pinky is up here at the index corner, while the thumb is at the other index corner, right? And I'm just pushing the cards right back up. And for the final entry in the random cool video, just pushing a card in like so and controlling it to the top. We'll do it like this. You're just using your index finger to come in and just push the card in just like so. Square everything up, whatever, it's on top. This is just a lateral still. That's all it is, and this came after actually a few years ago when I saw Alex Pandrea offer something very similar, but he did it like this, where he came in and kind of swiped the card in flush, but he ended up in this position. I thought, my gosh, man, that looks really awkward. When do you ever push a card in like this? I can't even do it that way. However, you do push a card in sometimes with your index finger flush with the deck. And so, funny, I just released a video on the fan control, Alex Pandrea, and how I modified it because I didn't like it. And here's another move that Alex Pandrea is a genius. However, I think this way is more practical, right? And, maybe it looks a little better. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. It's pretty simple. You're just sticking a card in and you're stealing it away in a lateral palm. So how I do the lateral palm is something I learned from Jeremy Griffith. It's with the index corner going into the pinky and ring finger crotch, right? And the index gripping the non-pip corner. So in order for this to happen, your fingers and thumb on either sides of the deck. That way when you come in for the steal, because this is the first point that hits. And if your fingers aren't there, this is what happens. So they're there to really stabilize the card. Obviously, so you can grip it. So you come in, you make contact, right? And this is just in a non-moment, really. So it makes contact with this. Your index finger comes on the other side of the card. And I like to kind of open my fingers up, right, as I'm doing the steal. And it really gives that impression that your index is just pushing that card in flush with the deck, when in reality, right, and your hand gives all the cover in the world, but the nature of how you're just kicking this card out to the side and all these windows, your hand is concealing the card back here, and it really just, I don't know, I like this move. Again, let me know what you think below. So we'll run through that again very fast. Your hand comes in, makes contact with this corner, index comes down like this, and you immediately let go with your middle finger over here. That way you could kick the card out, right? At this point, I just kind of open things up a little bit, and I just steal the card out in the action of just, pushing it in flush with my index like this. At this point, all you have to do is just come over, square everything, whatever you want to do. There you go, my friends. Hopefully that wasn't too long and boring. And again, let me know in the comments if this is a series that is worth continuing. Have a great weekend, guys. Thanks for stopping by once again. Jorge Anito signing off, and be blessed.